Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're dredging up the end of the alphabet as Nicov, playing as the red Vikings, prepares to take on the Viper, playing as the blue Teutons. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings with Goat and with Scout, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the respective Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Vikings are a civilization that focuses primarily on its infantry. Starting in Feudal Age, all infantry units get HP and can be upgraded to get an attack boost against cavalry and camel units, although not likely to see camels out of our blue Teuton. Now, this boost in attack does benefit the first unique unit of the Vikings, the Berserker, a durable, well-armored, strong infantry unit whose health automatically regenerates at a rate of 20 HP per minute, although it can be upgraded to regenerate at 40 HP per minute. Now, to support the production of a military population as fast as possible, Vikings get both the wheelbarrow and the handcart upgrades for free. And not only does that save them the resources needed to research those upgrades, but also the time required to research those upgrades. Opposing the red Viking horde, we have the blue Teutons, played by the Viper, a civilization designed to take a beating. All barracks and stable units get free extra melee armor starting in castle. Siege units can be upgraded to get a big +4 melee armor boost. Towers have extra space and more room to garrison units inside. And by the way, the same exact thing for town centers. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. 25 villagers able to go in here compared to the usual 15, which does allow Teuton town centers and towers to fire more arrows. Now, they also get murder holes and herbal medicine upgrades for free, so the Teutons can heal their units inside castles as fast as possible in the game while being protected against melee units. Now, those same Teuton castles can be upgraded even more to have extra range and actually fire arrows when garrisoned by infantry, which, believe me, is a big deal, since usually only villagers and range/archer units add arrow fire to a castle. Now, on the field of battle, Teutonic units have higher resistance to conversion, and if they get hurt, or rather in this game, when they get hurt, can be healed by monks from twice the normal distance, which is great news for the unique unit of the Teutons, the Teutonic Knight. This is an incredibly powerful, durable, heavily armored infantry unit that is incredibly slow because of the heavy armor that it wears. Now, the Teutons, to support their military production, do get 40% off farms, and that allows them to build as many farms as a player absolutely wishes to his or her heart's content or desire. Now, while we've been talking about the civilizations, both players have gone up to 15 villagers. The Viper harvesting these adorable lemon bushes with the pretty blue butterflies. Let's take a look at the bases, see if any player is in a particular advantage or disadvantage. The Viper, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, completely open to the north, the east, the south. The northwest, I guess, could be closed off, although would require a significant expenditure of wood. The entire west also can be closed off, although it is significantly further away from his settlement. Now, his primary gold, nice and secure in the back. Primary stone, also, I would say a little bit in the back, although a little bit further off campus. Nicov, let's take a look at his base, completely open in the front. The part of his base facing his opponent, completely open to the west, completely open in the north. The east, easy to wall off with a house or a few palisades up to the north here. And over here, although again, very far away off campus, his wood lines nowhere near his town center, so does have to be careful lest the Viper comes out, becomes aggressive, and tries to knock him off these wood lines. His primary gold, a little bit forward facing, would do well to continue this wall off attempt here and maybe take this hill. Does not want the hill to fall into enemy hands. Primary stone, very forward facing, so if the Viper decides to put any kind of aggression on his opponent, excuse me, the stone is exposed, the gold is exposed, and the primary source of lumber for now is exposed. So Nicov, I would say, in a slightly worse position here than the Viper, who has both his resources nice and secure. Oh, wanted to wall it off here, realizes that would stop his stone gathering, and decides to extend his wall off a little bit further away. But as I was saying, the Viper in a bit of a better position here in terms of where his primary resources are located. And let's take a look. I'm seeing a bunch of red dots streaming across the map. These are 3 militias who are going to attract the attention, the ire of an incredibly hungry lion. He does not care that he's about to die. He is so hungry. He has no choice. Autopilot kicks in and he attacks the 3 militias, does manage to get 7 HP from one of them, but undeterred, these Viking militias moving forward. Let's see what they can get done here. They are going to run straight into this palisade. Oh, this looks like an adorable little stork here flying around at the speed of 1.32. Okay, Nicov, let's see, has he explored the back of the base? Yeah, so he knows there's this little portion here where he can enter the Viper's base, but the Viper, no noob at this game. He knows, he expects something, so he sends his scout and a villager with a hammer in her hand. Oh no, she decides to back away the second he sees these militia. The Viper uncharacteristically losing his scout, and now he has no military to speak of. Although that being said, this military not exactly the scariest in the world. Both players now in feudal age. These men-at-arms have been upgraded to militia have been upgraded to man-at-arms, and they are circling. They want some villager blood. Let's see if they can get one more villager, or rather a villager of the Viper. Nope. Axe in hand, she runs away to the safety of the town center. And oh my god, what the hell is this? Almost getting his opponent inside the most quintessential of Viper gates, although using houses this time. Had that villager not run away so far, had she been a little bit closer, those 3 men-at-arms would have been trapped in a narrow sliver of land, and then these skirmishers would have had enough time to their heart's content to kill them. Although that being said, not really that didn't really make a difference here. The men-at-arms have to run away. 3 skirmishers not exactly going to kill them as fast as any other unit, but still, range unit. The Viper decides to save 2 at the expense of 1, knowing that these javelins from these skirmishers, let's take a look at what they attack on at the moment. A massive 2 attack against a unit that has 1 pierce armor. So 54 shots required to kill 1 man-at-arms. And the Viper knows that that's not going to happen. So he circles around back to the, or rather Nicov knows that's not going to happen. Now circling back to the front of the Viper's base. And he's going to try to bust his way in here. Interesting choice. These archers, 3 of them with another dot, a 4th one coming forward. Should be able to get this house down, I think. I don't think these skirmishers are going to be able to kill these men-at-arms very quickly, and even if they do, even if they focus on those men-at-arms, these archers are going to attack the skirmishers, but Nicov has to be careful. The Viper destroying his own palisade just so he can get out on the field of battle. Nicov noticing it, moving forward with 1 man-at-arms, distracting these skirmishers, while his other 2 continue to work on this house. Should get the house. The question is, and then what? Okay, Viper destroys his own house here in the name of continuing a wall. Destroys his own palisade so he can save this 1 villager. Okay, and now the Viper is pretty safe here. The only question is, how's he going to respond to these 4 or 5 archer units? He's got enough skirmishers to shoo them away, but he needs, in my opinion, 1 more, even just 1 archer to deal with these men-at-arms. They are not going to take a lot of damage from these skirmishers whatsoever. He is completely open here on the east, but opting for a funnel strategy where if Nicov tries to go into his base, he's going to come under immediate town center fire. And remember, this is a Teuton town center. 25 potential villagers in there, 5 potential extra arrows to be fired. And so very quickly, these men-at-arms are going to discover that you do not sorry guys, I'm trying to swear less in my videos. You do not F with a Teuton town center when you are a cheap, weak, feudal army. Let's see what our red Viking is building behind us. He's got his archery range, his barracks. I don't see a, okay, a secondary building finally going up for him. A stable. Okay. So these skirmishers, by virtue of just having enough time... Oh, Viper destroys yet another one of his own houses just to save this 1 villager. Okay. This is something that players with lower elos or less experienced players, I think, are a little scared to do. I definitely know when I was starting to play this game back 20 plus odd years ago, it's always scary to destroy your own buildings. It's always scary to delete your own units, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes to save a villager, you have to destroy a house. You have to demolish a palisade. And so do not be afraid. Resources, especially wood in Age of Empires, incredibly renewable. And now the Viper shooing away this entire red force. As I was about to say, he has been tickling away at the HP of these men-at-arms for basically the entirety of the game. And now our red Viking, a minute and a half away from Castle Age, does come out on the map with a scout. Unless the Viper splits these guys up, they are in serious trouble here. Should be able to get 2 or 3 of them at least, especially after he goes after the weak one and then going after another weak one. Beautiful play here by Nicov to target the weakest of these skirmishers of the Viper. But now the Viper's got one spearman rushing to help his friends. And yeah, Nicov sees it. Nicov runs away while at the same time moving forward with 7 archers of his own on the western side of the map. Viper desperately trying to get, he needs to get this scout. You cannot have an opponent's scout cavalry running amok while you don't have one yet. Finally building one of his own. And it is out. It is in a defensive posture here on the eastern portion of our Teutonic base. Viper also going up to castle, although a minute and 20 seconds behind his opponent. Let's see what Nicov can do with his advantage. Villager count identical, military count 2 times in favor of our red Viking, who now is walling off his own base. Okay, would do well to put some villagers in the town center. Decides not to. Maybe didn't see. Maybe decided, actively decided not to. But now he's going to push this spearman away. Okay, and the spearman is going to go bye-bye. At the same time, though, crossbows now, 8 of them on the eastern shores of Germania. This villager, high off her compatriots' kills of the spearmen, decides to attack these skirmishers on her own, and this one knight should be able to get rid of all of the Viper's aggression. Viper now also in castle, getting defensive upgrades for his cavalry units. More and more houses going down. Take a look at the Viper's base. This is a defensive player if I've ever seen one. He's got the palisade, walls, houses behind it, a secondary row of houses behind the primary row of houses. This is a player and a secondary palisade behind the primary palisade. This is a player who either is planning on booming defensively or is planning on putting on so much of his own military aggression that he does not want to take even the smallest iota of risk of having his opponent flank him or attack his rear third rather town center going up for our Viking. While we were looking at the Viper's map, our red Viking already plopped down a second town center. I like this location, but needs to take this hill. Cannot let this hill fall into enemy hands. In come 4 full health, almost full health knights. And the Viper now exploring the extremities of the map, looking for more resources, looking for relics. Nicov has seen a little bit of the extremities, and what is he doing with these crossbows? What are they on sabbatical? Get back to work, kill something, destroy something, tickle something, annoy something. Don't just hang out at the edge of the map here. You know your opponent has sent his military across the map. All you need to do is get this one little palisade wall, and you will be able to get into his base. Instead, opting to attack a full health house, and now retreats. Somehow knows that these knights are heading back home. Scout cavalry and the 4 knights have not managed to do much here. We've got a pikeman and 2 crossbows patrolling the northern shores of our Viking homeland. Finally a second town center going up for our blue Teuton. Okay, he's moving forward. I mean, 6 knights should be able to decimate these crossbows, but they wedge themselves into a little nook here. Let's see if the Viper notices. Okay, goes in, peeks around, sees nothing, and goes back out. A third town center going up for him. Not a terrible location here. Gets the stone. Let's see if he discovers where these crossbows are. Oh no, just flies north of where these crossbows are. They have to be careful though. They had a good nook situation going. I mean, they had box turtles protecting their rear, crossbows protecting their front, but now they are exposed. Now they are out in the open. And if the Viper realizes this and brings these knights back, I mean, he's got a bunch of knights here, 12 knights circling the middle of the map. And now he sees the attack. For some bizarre reason, Nicov deciding to attack some of these structures, will run away. I wonder if this was a feint or this was a attempt by him to lure the Viper's knights away from his own base. If so, 4D chess is being played here, and he has done well, although not choosing to go back to his little safe nook here, instead continuing to circle out on the map. He has to be very careful, otherwise the Viper is going to catch these. Okay, never mind. He is going back. More box turtles here for neither player, I guess. Okay, Viper continuing to search for these crossbows. Sends one knight south. And let's see, now, finally, these two armies are on the same screen. The Viper pivots east. He should see, let's take a look at his vision. He should see these crossbows. And now these crossbows are in serious trouble here. 4 knights detach themselves, run towards them. And now these other 5 or 6 are going to catch them. The crossbows giving up the safety of the tree line for the open sands of Arabia. But Nicov playing a little bit of a game with Viper, luring him into even more crossbows. 2 monks coming forward. Viper has to disengage here. Viper really has to disengage here. Does manage to get the knights. No converts going down at all. But the pike are going to be able to savage these knights while the crossbows tickle away at the rest. Brilliant play here by our red Viking here. Trapping these knights in a battle that the Viper should not have taken. Now decides finally to disengage, run away. Kill count, though, very much still in favor of our blue Viper. Okay, so while the players disengage, let's take a look at their production facilities. Viper sitting on the same 2 stables. He's got 1 archery range, 1 barracks, an incredibly forward castle here by Nicov, who's bringing a bunch of, 13 villagers to get this castle up. Will the Viper see? He will not. The vision of this house not sufficient. What does Nicov have at the moment? He's got 2 archery ranges, a stable, and 2 barracks. So neither player really investing yet into any kind of heavy military production. Nicov needs to be careful. Don't want to reveal the location of this castle until it starts firing arrows down on these Teutonic houses with their adorable gardens, some barrels, no doubt, of beer, and a warm hearth, a well, and a wheelbarrow. Okay, so now the Viper knows what is going on, sees the castle, does not see the villagers thieving his gold, though. Excuse me. And now Nicov circling to the west of the Viper's base as well, while the Viper engages into his opponent's base, but gets shooed away by monks. Okay. Nicov first to click up to Imperial, 2.5 minutes away. Also getting Forging, will finally have an attack upgrade on his melee units. And now circling the back with these pikes. Going to join his crossbow friends, who outrange this town center by how much? By 1 tile. So they can keep shelling away at that town center for days. Viper with a defensive castle, but 1 villager only. Okay, no, more being brought forward. 8 more, so 9 in total. The very cocky house here. Viper with the attack round command, managing to do a little bit of damage to this pikeman, but in come these 3 villagers. They say, screw the house, we want to get this mangonel, but the knights might have something to say about that. They should be able to get rid of this attacking force. We've got our first berserker out on the map. Oh, what a beautiful, fun unit to watch. And we've got a second castle going up for our red Viking, who is making himself at home with a market, a barracks, and a bunch of infantry units, which managed to get that mangonel. And now the Viper is in serious trouble here. What's this 1 red dot? We've got 1 pikeman. Okay, all his friends are attacking. All his friends are fighting for the Viking collective. He has decided to take a little break. This castle with 2,000 HP is now in trouble. Viper sends 1 very idealistic villager here to try to get that castle up. but does manage to get a backup castle up for himself. He is 40 seconds away from Imperial. Town Watch Bracer going down for our Red Vikings. So these crossbows are going to be a bit more powerful. One Berserker shelling away 1700 HP now on this castle. What is Viper intending on doing here? Oh, what a nice catch here for our blue Teuton. Nicov not paying attention, takes a volley from the mangonel. These crossbows do get damage. I don't think any of them died though. No, one of them did die. I saw his body decomposing. But now Nicov using his time advantage in Imperial, going Trebs. Viper still has not gotten his first Treb out yet. Getting chemistry, getting Town Watch as well. 1000 HP on this castle. He needs to cancel this castle. This is not a castle that's long for this world. These crossbows doing whatever they can to try to zone out this one mangonel who's getting repaired. And now Nicov is just shoving into the guts. Like I said, making himself... Oh, yeah, the Viper decides to delete it, gets back some stone, has enough to build another castle. Handcart, not sure that is the priority right now for our blue Teuton, who finds himself under siege by 4 trebuchets. 3 more on the production tab. Nicov wants to end this game yesterday. He does not want to risk the Viper getting up any more of his own Trebs. 70. Will the Viper get a Treb out? I don't think so. Oh, God. So now he's stuck on this just one Treb here. An incredibly defensive castle being built in the back of the Viper base. I don't mind this at all. Especially not because, especially not since his own base now is completely open. Getting cavalry defensive upgrades, strengthening his buildings with masonry is our blue Teuton. Conscription, ballistics going down. So our Red Viking is going to produce his ranged units quicker, rather all military units quicker, and the ranged units are going to have a little bit of an extra attack. Moving forward with 7 freaking trebuchets. The Viper here in serious amounts of trouble. All of a sudden, the game has erupted, and too bad, unfortunately for Viper, it's erupted right in the front of his base. What is this? He's got... Oh, he's under attack, but instead of defending with every ounce of villager strength he can, he sends 11 of them off to the side. Let's keep an eye on those, see what they're for. But now the Teutonic siege is out. Crenellation's out. So take a look at the range on this castle. 13 range compared to the more standard 11. Remember, the Teutons are not exactly a weak civilization. They have some heavy hitting units. Bombard cannons coming out already have managed to get 3 of the Viking trebuchets. One is on fire and does die. So another Treb, 4 Treb kills for the Viper. My God, has he managed to stave off this attack beautifully. And now he's mining more stone. We'll see if that's for another castle. We'll see if our Viking player even gives him time to put one up. Now shifting to the north/northwest of the Viper's base. His villagers are busy building a castle. Also, Trebs coming forward, but has to be careful. Viper continuing to build these bombard cannons, now sitting on 2. He's got a mangonel. He's got a trebuchet. Teuton's very capable of defending. Deletes another house just so the villager can get to these bombard cannons and protect them with her life. Our Red Viking has no inclination that the Viper is thieving his resources. Another defensive castle going down for our blue Teuton, who is now researching elite skirmishers. Okay, where is this Treb going? A little bit too far off campus. Does end up paying the price. 5 trebuchets going down for our Red Viking, who is not being careful at all. Needs to be a little bit more careful with his Trebs. These are not cheap units. My God, look at this one's on fire. Moving forward, but take a look at the military count. 57 army supply to 8. Our Viking is supply capped at 200, systematically destroying all the defenses of our blue Teuton, who destroys his own structure here to build another defensive castle. These berserkers are not yet elite, and now we've got the onager upgrade. Onager upgrade when you've got 3 mangonels, not a bad idea, and a Teutonic Knight comes out. These Viking berserkers have to be very careful now. These Teutonic Knights, 7 base melee armor on those Teutonic Knights, but how many arbalests? 40 friggin' arbalests for our Teuton player. The Viper moving in with a knight of his own, trying to distract his opponent. 4 kills for the knight so far, but he's almost done tiefing all of the stone here. Well, I wonder what he'll do once he's done. Loses control of the 2 relics, so now our Viking player does have 2 relics to none, but has to be careful with crenellations. These castles are just so dangerous with their extra range. And now we've got onagers, we've got Teutonic knights, we've got bombard cannons. Again, the Teutons able to field some incredibly powerful units. Our Red Viking expanding with a 5th town center. Don't mind this location at all. And look at the we've got a bit of a hippie colony here. Oh no, the peace has been shattered by our Viking player, who decides to get aggro with these villagers, not let them mine at all. Meanwhile, as I was saying a minute ago, our Red Viking is just systematically destroying the Viper's base, slowly pushing our Viper into more and more of a corner. Finally, the Viper gets conscription. Although, where are his production facilities? He's got 1 stable, 2 siege workshops, and that's it? Is that really the extent of our blue Teuton's production facilities? He is managing to get all this gold, though. Okay. But 1 pikeman will come away, and eventually Slow AF will be able to get those units off of that gold. Nicov very much respecting his opponent. I mean, any other player would have rushed in by now. He's got 4 Trebs on the way, 9 Berserkers, 43 Arbalests. I wonder if he went a bit too heavy into Arbalests, although his opponent, what is he building? 7 Teutonic Knights, 4 Bombard Cannons, 3 Onagers. So Nicov has to be very careful. He is 1 Onager volley, 1 Bombard Cannon volley away from losing 15 to 20 of these Arbalests. Guard Tower upgrade, Berserker Gang. Okay, that is going to double the regeneration of these Horned Ginger fighters here from 20 HP per minute to 40. 1 monk just blocking this 1 villager. When's the last time you saw something like this in Age of Empires? Oh, you love to see cool little shit like that. Box formation here for these Arbalests, but like I said, don't pay attention for 1 second, and all of a sudden the Onager gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kills, although probably more, 6 in total. But the Viper has to be careful, has to respect the castle that's here. I don't know what the hell that castle was here that he was trying to build. It is going to come under immediate attack by this castle, but I think he thinks he has enough ranged units here, enough damage dealers to be able to take on this Arbalest force. Oh god, especially with the Onagers. And let's see what happens here. This is an incredible fight here. Oh god, this is why you never, ever discount the Teutons. 13 kills now on these Onagers. 28 on these bombard cannons. Still has 4 of them, going up to 5, going up to 7 Onagers is our blue Teuton, the Viper, but he's been pushed into a corner. Nicov says, I am going to put baby in a corner. More and more elite Berserkers now. Okay, strengthening with architecture his buildings is our Vikings, but he should lose this castle. And now the Teutonic Knights. Okay, we'll move forward, move back. Oh, he's got to be careful with these bombard cannons. Berserkers moving in. Oh god, they take a bunch of volleys to the face, and now after all of that, having to engage. Imagine you're a Berserker. You take a bunch of Onager shots to the face, and then after that you think you're in the clear, but instead you run face forward into a bunch of Teutonic Knights with 9 melee armor attacking on a 16. My god, these Berserkers are very unfortunate. But Viper should lose his castle, right? I mean, look, he's selling everything he can so that he can get gold to buy stone so that he can continue repairing. And now Berserkers are going to fight. Teutonic Knight's castle does end up going down. Oh, now he's losing Onagers, though. He's down to 3 from the 7 that he had, 2 from the 7 that he had. And now Red Viking player is just pushing out onto the map. As I said a few minutes ago, he was respecting the Viper perhaps a little bit too much. And when I say respecting, I mean not engaging into the Viper's defenses, okay? Choosing to go after villagers instead of this One trebuchet moving forward with how many of his own? What is this? Six trebuchets. This is what happens when you have full map control. Take a look at the map. It is red from left to right, from north to south. Viper struggling to get to 140 supply. Does have the best unit, the Teutonic Knight, but it is slow and it is going to die to these arbalests. And our Viking is just reinforcing for days. He's supply capped at 200, continuing to produce 15 units at a time. Not surprised that the Viper decided to tap out here. Wow, what a fun game. Anytime you get to see Berserkers take on Teutonic Knights, it is not a bad day whatsoever. Let's take a look at the map. Let's see. I mean, we kind of know why the Viper resigned. He's been... Take a look at it. I'm going to zoom out. Take a look at this. This is basically the extent of the Teutonic colony now. This is the Teutonic settlement. He has been pushed back. Meanwhile, Nicov has full domination of the map, full control of the map. My goodness. Let's take a look at the stats. 25 Teutonic Knights, 105 Arbalests. Wow, APM surprisingly similar for both players at 174 for the Viper, 176 for Nicov. Kill count very much in favor of the Viper. Not surprising. He's the one playing defensively. He's the one with the onagers, the bombard cannons, the castles with crenellations. Again, 13 range on a castle is just bonkers level range. Let's take a look at the actual statistics, though. Economy-wise, Nicov, what is this? 14,000 or so, 13,500 more than his opponent. So about 20% more. About 1,000 more relic gold, not exactly the determining factor. 12,500 to 18,000. Stone surprisingly even, food surprisingly even, but wood is where our Viking player excelled. And he converts, no converts whatsoever in this game, despite the presence of monks all the livelong day. The Viper killing 192 units, Nicov killing 93. Civilian kills, not the highest in the game. 39 kills for our Red Viking, 18 for our Blue Teuton. I'm going to zoom out. I want to see exactly how much production our Red Viking has. 13 archery ranges, only 3 barracks. Okay. I guess he doesn't really need the barracks. He wasn't really producing infantry beyond these 2 pikemen. Ends the game with 30 elite berserkers, 37 arbalests, 6 freaking trebuchets. Remember, he had 7. The Viper did an incredible job demolishing that count. I mean, the Viper's use of siege was excellent. Unfortunately for him, his supply is 15 military, and he just was being overrun. Absolutely overrun. What is this? This is literally, what, 5 times the military count? You cannot win in a game like Age of Empires with 5 times less military count, no matter how powerful your units are. This one Viking with a swashbuckling cape. Oh god, look at this Teutonic Knight. I've never seen a death animation for a Teutonic Knight. It looks like he's dropped his sword. He is falling to the ground. His blue Crusader cape swirling around him. And yeah, first of all, I am shocked that the Viper still has 117 villagers. Was he, I'm going to rewind, was he continuing? He was continuing to produce villagers. This is an incredible thing. You imagine you're the Viper. Imagine you're playing the Blue Teutons here. Your opponent has pushed you into the corner. You tried a nice cheeky little run by here. You did thief a bunch of stone. You tried to thief a bunch of gold, but in comes a pikeman, in comes a monk to cockblock you. You have now lost all of your map presence. This is the extent of your vision. Most of your vision comes from your opposing units attacking you, by the way. So, which is never a good thing. You never want to be in that position, even though it does have this one outpost here. You've been pushed back into the corner. You know you're down. You can see the score. You're down about 3,000 points. You see that your opponent has castles all the way around you, infrastructure all the way around you. I mean, he's seen the castle, he's seen the tower, he's seen the university, the archery ranges, the barracks, the houses. He's seen the army here. He's seen the army streaming up here. What do you decide to do? You decide to build 15 villagers, 750 food. Or what am I saying? Excuse me. You decide to build villagers at a moment like this. That is an incredibly interesting development. In any event, our Red Viking just deciding to hit late castle, early imperial as the moment where he explodes onto the map, knowing that he's playing a player like the Viper, who is, I guess, how do I put this, historically a defensive player. I've seen him play incredibly offensive, but I think on the whole, I'm not too far afield here calling him a defensive player. And overall, exploding out onto the map, confining your opponent to a small sliver of land in the southern and western portion of the map, taking entire control, entire domination of the map here, overwhelming your opponent despite taking a bunch of onager shots and bombard cannon shots to the face. Nicov does get the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.